So, how you doing, Laura? Okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. So, we're doing these mini documentaries now, trying to get people's experiences through different, in the phrase, mental illnesses out there. Okay? So, we've contacted each other during the week.
Yeah.
And just start off by saying why you would like to do what you're doing today.
To raise awareness.
Yeah.
Because, like you said yourself on the phone, there's a lot of stuff about physical disabilities.
Yeah.
But when it comes to mental disabilities, there's not enough awareness at all.
Yeah. So if this video helps people out there, that's probably the main reason why you're doing it,
definitely.
really, isn't it? Okay. So start from the beginning. Tell us when you first became aware of what your condition is, and if you could tell us what your condition is.
I knew from an early age,
Yeah.
to be honest. I first went into hospital, I was 17.
Yeah.
I went into, am I allowed to mention hospitals?
Just say how you went into hospital, that's
Okay.
fine. So, alright, just in case.
Yeah, I went into hospital, I was 17. But they weren't allowed to take anyone under 18.
Okay.
But I was showing signs of not being too good, basically. So they took me into this hospital.
And what signs were they, sorry, Laura? What signs?
Suicidal.
At the time? So you felt suicidal?
No, I was doing suicidal things.
So you was attempting suicide?
Yeah, it was how I actually got in there. They actually got in there. This is how it happened.
Yeah.
I woke up in the morning.
Yeah.
I went to, back then you could smoke in the hospitals.
Yeah.
They had a smoking room. So I went into the smoking room. Didn't know where I was.
Yeah.
Kind of literally walked out of my room, walked into the smoking room, went to have a fag. And this woman was there and she was talking to me. She was fine, absolutely fine. And then she started spouting off all this mad stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, where am I? Where am I? And it was probably about 2 hours after that of me going back to my room, sitting in my bed crying, that a nurse actually come and spoke to me.
Yeah.
And I said, where am I? And she said, you took an overdose last night.
Yeah.
I said, yes I did. And she said, well, you've been sectioned. But up until then I didn't know. I was 17. I didn't know any of this.
Did you have any support at the time?
Nothing. This is what I woke up to.
Yeah.
She said she'd been sectioned. I was 17. I didn't know what the word section meant.
Yeah.
Didn't understand any of that.
So it was quite a frightening experience then.
Huh?
Quite a frightening experience.
Completely.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I went into my room. I got my hairdryer. Somehow I packed my bags that night. I do not recall any of it.
Yeah.
But I had my hairdryer. Smashed that against my door. Next thing I know, I was getting nurses running into my room, putting my trousers down and putting an injection in my bum.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
All in one day. I called my mum. Said to my mum, like, I've been sectioned. What does the word section mean? My mum suffers from mental health.
Sure.
She's been in places before.
Yeah.
And all this lot. I said I've been sectioned. Within probably about an hour, my mum was there.
Yeah.
My mum went mental at the nurses for the way they was treating me because it was absolutely disgusting. I stayed there that time. I stayed there for, I think it was about 2 weeks. But from that age to 19, I was in and out probably about 20 times. I was in and out a lot. But it felt like I could breathe in my own home.
Yeah.
Without them softening up, sectioning. I went to the hospital once because I had a bad bellyache.
Yeah.
I ended up getting sectioned because I had a bellyache. It was like everything turned around to she's about to get her sectioned. And
so you was living on eggshells in a sense, quite fearful that everything that you would complain about might end up with you being sectioned.
Completely. They diagnosed me first of all. They diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder.
Yeah.
So I got diagnosed with that first of all. They put me on medication. They put me on literally every medication you can think of.
Yeah.
They put me on that.
Yeah.
Tried me on it. It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. And then they realised that actually there might be a bit more to this.
Yeah.
So then they diagnosed me with bipolar. They diagnosed me with bipolar at the age of 24, I think it was. Obviously I'd been in and out since I was 17.
Yeah.
But from the age of 17 to 24, I had 3 kids.
Yeah.
And when I had my children, I got postnatal depression.
Yeah.
Really bad. So now I haven't got my children. I haven't seen my children in nearly 3 years now.
Yeah. So it's had a massive impact on your whole life then, hasn't it?
It's mental health has ruined my life.
Yeah.
Completely ruined my life. If I could ever start my life over again, if I had one wish, it would not to be bipolar. That's the worst thing. I can go through everything that I've been through in my life. I would go through it 10 times over. But to not have bipolar would be the one thing. It's ruined my life. It's not just ruined my life, it's ruined my children's lives. Because they don't even know who their mum is.
Yeah.
So it has a knock-on effect.
So it's not just the experience of experiencing bipolar, it's the repercussions of it filtering out into your whole life, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's my girlfriend, she has to put up with it.
Yeah. Constantly.
Like, I go on highs, and my thing on a high is, and I might sound mad, but
yeah.
I get animals.
Okay.
That's my animals.
Oh, you buy animals for like pets?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like, if you look outside, we've got a guinea pig there.
Okay.
We acquired him last week. But she has to tell me to stop, and like sometimes I feel like a child.
Okay.
Like the way she speaks to me, like she's like, "Laura, you can't do this. Like, calm down."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
how long do the highs last for when you're feeling up, Laura?
They can last for anything between probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To like a month and a half, something like that.
And what about the downs?
They're horrible. The highs, me personally, I love them.
Yeah.
Love being on a high. Her, not so much.
Yeah.
The downs can last a lot longer. The downs, without lying, sometimes I don't even think I'm going to get through them sometimes.
Yeah.
Can I show this on there?
Of course you can.
I do a self-harm.
If you just hold it up to the lens there.
I do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like self-harm, but I don't do it to kill myself. Yeah. I'm not one of these people that do it, I'm going to kill myself. It's not like that. The reason I self-harm is because I hate myself so much sometimes that I need to hurt myself.
Yeah.
Because if I'm hurting, then I feel a little bit better. I know that might sound crazy.
You can see your pain rather than feeling
pain. Yeah, can we turn this off for 1 minute? Is that alright? There's a lot of self-harmers that will cut their wrists and stuff to try and kill themselves. I don't do it like that. I do it because I feel so much hurt inside that when I see the blood, it's a release.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's when I've tried to explain this to doctors and stuff like that, literally as soon as I say what I've just said to you, they lock me up. I'm crazy, I'm mental. When really I'm not, I'm just hurting.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what to say after this.
It's horrible for you to realise that the outside world really have no idea, in a sense, how to support and listen to you.
Yeah, and it's only because sorry, I need the camera. It's only because I grew up. My mum was schizophrenic.
Yeah. And
it was growing up with her. She had to leave us when I was 5, and I never met her again until I was 12. And I hated her at the time, absolutely hated her. When she walked back in my life, I didn't want nothing to do with her. And my brothers and sisters did, there's 12 of us. So they all wanted something to do with her, but I didn't. Because I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand why she left.
Yeah.
And it was only going through the same things like that I've gone through with my children that actually I realised that she's not a bad person, and that actually it weren't her fault. Yeah.
It's okay. So if there's anybody out there watching that may be 15, 16, 17 years old, and if you can try and clarify in a sense how you felt or experienced the first signs that something was difficult for you that could help people observe it in themselves.
Okay, when I first knew, I knew I thought different than other people. I knew I worried about things a lot more than other people did.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to put it into words. I know I was different, but it's only now that I know that it's okay to be different.
That's right, yeah.
And there's no normal in this world. There is no normal.
Exactly.
But when you're 16,
yeah,
you try and fit into a thing, don't you?
you do.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I kind of knew that, like I said, that I weren't normal and stuff like that. I kept it to myself for so long, and I made it into a bigger thing than it didn't need to be. Like I said, I got sectioned at 17. If I had spoken to somebody before then, maybe it wouldn't have come to that.
That's really good advice, yeah.
So it's literally just, if you feel like that, this is what I'm saying to, like,
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If you feel like that, there's nothing wrong in it at all.
Yeah.
The world is full of messed up people, and just because you feel like that, and even if you do get diagnosed with mental health and stuff, it doesn't make you crazy, it doesn't make you mad. The world's mad.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's much better to get help than to sit there suffering on your own, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
I sat there and I suffered on my own, and it done me no good. If I could give advice to anyone, it's, if you're feeling like, just talk.
Yeah.
Just talk, and if the first person don't listen to you, talk to the second person. And if the second person don't listen to you, talk to the first. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Because eventually somebody will hear you.
And what about you now then, Laura? How are you coping with what you've been experiencing all those years?
What now? Actually, everything's going good now.
Oh, that's good.
I've got my girlfriend. I take regular medication.
Okay.
I take that. So yeah, everything's good. But I also know that I have to take this medication for the rest of my life.
Okay.
I do know because I've tried. If I stop taking the medication, I get very ill very quickly.
Okay.
So it's one of the things that, yeah, I'll be on this medication for the rest of my life, but I would rather do that than have to put up with all the hospital shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
So,
and that's basically it. So, thank you. But you know what? I think it really surprised me how well you've been able to speak. And
was that alright?
Brilliant. And it was really good that through it you managed to come out with some really good advice, which is the same advice I would say, which is talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, and the other beautiful bit of advice you gave, which is lovely advice, is...
Babe! Could she listen to this?
Of course you can, yeah.
Babe! Babe!
Okay.
Oh shit.
So which one?
Yeah.
So it's basically done now. So the good thing is you managed to give really good advice, which will help young girls or boys that are having those same feelings and thoughts when they're like 15, 16, to talk.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and the most important advice in all of that is for you when you says that it doesn't make you insane or loopy. In fact, everybody's to a degree.
Yes, everyone's crazy.
Which is so true.
Yeah.
And as you said, when you're 16, you don't realise that, do you? You think you've lost the plot, but actually it's normal. It's just ways of trying to cope with really difficult feelings, which nobody's ever had anyone put their arm around someone's shoulder when they feel really bad.
That's it.
And know how to support them properly, that's all.
That's why I said, if the first person don't hear you, talk to the second person, talk to the third person, talk to someone will hear you in the end.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you're doing really well.
Thank
you. No worries.